Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our first Discovery Day of Fall 2025. My name is Ashley, and I'm actually a recent alumni of the University of Toronto, Mississauga, or as we call it, UTM. And you'll kind of get to know me a little bit more throughout this presentation. We do have a chat function, so I see some of you using it already, which is awesome. Some people have already noted where they're from. So please feel free to use that chat function throughout the presentation. Let us know where you're from, interact with each other. You can also ask us questions throughout the entire presentation, and our amazing chat moderator, Yvonne, will be answering those questions throughout the presentation, and then we will also have a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. So please don't be shy with your questions. The point of this presentation is to really engage with you guys and give you the best help that we can give you and ensure that you guys have a smooth transition into hopefully becoming UTM students. So I will move on with this presentation shortly. I just wanted to set a loose agenda for today. I will begin with introducing you guys to the University of Toronto, Mississauga, and then I'll give you guys a virtual campus tour with some insights on my days as a student at UTM. And then finally, we'll wrap up with our Q&A session. So without further ado, let's look at UTM by the numbers. So when it comes to academics, students can select from up to 12 admissions categories with over 90 areas of study and 180 academic programs. So students really have the opportunity to build and personalize their degrees to their interests and values. Some programs that may be of interest to you are our Forensic Science program, Commerce, Management, Theater and Drama, and our Communications program. So we denote this as Communications, Culture, Information, and Technology. So this level of diversity and variety can also be found outside of our academic programs, such as in our student communities and in our alumni networks. So our community is home to over 17,000 undergraduate students with about 12,800 domestic students and over 4,500 international students. And our international students come from over 130 different countries. And when you get old like me, you can become part of our 75,000 alumni who live and work in more than 110 countries globally. And this is really a tribute to the quality and the versatility of the U of T and the degrees that we hold here. So that's kind of UTM by the numbers. So let's get into why you should choose UTM specifically. And I think that any choice you make needs to be the right one for you specifically. However, I really want to discuss some of the things that I considered when thinking about which campus to attend, and hopefully this will make things a little bit more clear for you. So let's first talk about research advantage. To start, U of T is recognized as a top research university in Canada. And U of T's reputation has helped propel employability for our alumni and current students who choose to work while completing their degrees. So this actually makes U of T number one in Canada for alumni employability as well. And being a top research university in Canada means that we also have a lot of hands-on opportunities for students to get involved in research. And you can get involved in research as early as your second year. So this can be in various forms of research, such as our ROP, which stands for our Research Opportunity Program, or even doing independent research projects, or paid or volunteered work placements, as well as several study abroad options. So next, let's talk about location. Mississauga is actually the second largest city in the Greater Toronto Area, with several diverse neighborhoods, which all have their own culture and community. So UTM specifically is an ideal location because we are in close proximity to things like the Pearson International Airport, downtown Toronto, and Square One Shopping Center. Next up is the UTM community. So UTM fosters a supportive, student-centered community offering a wide range of resources. So these are designed to help students just like you guys excel academically and also co-curricularly. U of T also has a global impact. So Toronto and the GTA is one of the most diverse regions in the world, and U of T really mirrors Canada's cultural mosaic. U of T also fosters connections with other institutions and businesses globally. And as a UTM student, you become part of these connections and become global citizens who can make it global impacts. UTM is also often known as the natural choice. The campus itself is located on 200 acres of protected green space. So we have some amazing trails here on campus, and I highly recommend visiting them. With this in mind, UTM also has put in great efforts to become the most sustainable campus in the world. And lastly, we're always here for you. We have various supports such as things that range from things like financial aid, health and wellness centers, and learning communities within your residence halls. UTM really ensures that students feel a level of connection, which empowers them to define their own journeys within education and find success inside and out of the classroom. So I know this is a lot of information to take in, so thank you so much for listening. And finally, we can actually move on to our virtual campus tour. All right, so I'd like to start off by noting that our post-secondary experiences usually are very rarely linear. So even for myself, I did not have a linear journey with my post-secondary experience. So for example, I actually started at Western University and figured out in just 2 short months that living far away from home was not for me. So I ended up coming home and I ended up working for that year actually. And then after about a year, I applied to UTM, and I actually applied to the life sciences program at UTM. And then I eventually changed my program to psychology. So I ended up doing a major in psychology and then 2 minors in anthropology and sociology. I was also a research student at UTM. So I worked in the anthropology department in the Went and Para lab. And in these labs, I conducted computational genetic research and was even able to get a paper published in UTM's Young Anthropology Journal. I've also done research in the psychology department at UTM in the SKIP lab, which stands for the Self-Knowledge and Interpersonal Perception Lab. And lastly, under the supervision of the Para lab, I conducted an independent research project in evolutionary medicine. So if you have any questions regarding my research experience at UTM, or really anything else, I'm happy to answer those at the end of the presentation during our Q&A session. And just to kind of introduce you guys to myself outside of school, on the slide here, you can see that kind of top, for me, it's top left. It's a picture of me in an office. So if you recognize that area, that's probably because that's from the TV show The Office. So my favorite TV show ever is The Office. I rewatch it over and over and over again. And then they actually had like interactive setup, like they replicated the office set. They did it in a bunch of locations. This one was specifically at Yorkdale Mall. So Yorkdale Mall is located in Toronto. So I went there and took this picture there, and it was a really cool experience for me. I also love to travel. So anytime that I had a break or had time off from school, I would try to travel, go to a new country and experience new things. That one picture of me is me at the gym. So that was actually on Halloween day. So that's why I was in that costume. And I mean, Halloween's coming up, so who knows, maybe I'll do it again. But yeah, I do enjoy going to the gym when I can. And then the other 2 pictures on this slide kind of are just to depict some of the research that I've done through the course of my undergraduate degree. So today I'm really excited to share even more personal experiences with you and in my life as a UTM psychology student as we take a virtual tour over some of the most important spots on campus. So we're actually going to start our tour in the Kneff Center and the Innovation Complex. Okay, so this is the Kneff Center and the Innovation Complex. So the Kneff Center was originally built in 1992, and it expanded with the Innovation Complex in 2014. So it's home to the Commerce, Management, and Economics programs. We also have a lecture hall that we call KN137, which seats about 350 students, and it is a pretty standard first-year lecture hall. One of the major resources I want to talk about today is the Office of the Registrar. So I work within the Registrar's office as a recruitment counselor within the UTM admissions team, which is why I'm giving this presentation today, of course. And this is one of the many offices on campus that employs students through the work-study program. And this allows students to work part-time on campus while balancing their academics as well. So I started off in this office actually as a student ambassador. So I did the work-study program, and I feel really lucky to be working with such an incredible group of people here. So on top of that, the Office of the Registrar is also here to answer any questions you have about academic or financial aid advising. Fun fact, we also do get a lot of filming here on campus. So there's actually a scene from the hit TV show The Boys, which was shot just outside of the registration reception area in the Innovation Complex, so right in front of the Office of the Registrar. And when I do group tours, I always point out that there is a second cup located in this building. So it is my go-to coffee spot on campus. And yes, it is better than Starbucks. So our next building is actually connected to the Innovation Complex and Kenneth Center through an underground tunnel. And our next building that we're going to head over to is the Davis building. So the Davis building is actually our oldest and largest building on campus. And if you decide to use this tunnel to get there, one of the first places you will pass is our Health and Counseling Center. So here you can obtain medical appointments for both physical and mental health. You can access nutritional counseling and health education, all of which is covered by OHIP. So I really appreciate the HCC's rapid response to a mental health crisis that I was having, and they connected me with a counselor right away, and I was able to de-escalate the situation fairly quickly. Another important location for me in the Davis building would be the bookstore. So probably the most important resource here for most students would be textbooks. But you can also get other course materials from the bookstore, including things like lab coats, goggles, calculators, you name it. They also do have school supplies and, most importantly for most students, U of T merch. So U of T has actually collaborated with Drake's OVO brand, as well as brands like Lululemon, which means this type of merch sells out very fast. Textbooks can be purchased through the bookstore in hardcover copies or in ebooks as well. And we do have a buyback program, so you can save some money on your textbooks. So if your textbooks are in good condition, you can always sell them back to the bookstore. So I personally get most of my school stationery from the bookstore, or I did when I was a student. And I find that it's pretty affordable doing things this way. Also within the Davis building, on the main level, you'll find our newly renovated food court. So if you have any dietary restrictions or you're just a picky eater like me, there's a range of food locations within the Davis building and around campus, which can support dietary restrictions, and I'll point a few of those out to you along the way. So on top of our UTM dining options, we have familiar restaurants such as Tim Hortons, Booster Juice, Harvey's, and Thai Express. Some of the food in our cafeteria is actually also grown here in a greenhouse on campus. So, and on top of that, we have bees. So we have beehives and we harvest their honey, which is also used in the cafeteria. This tends to be one of the busiest areas on campus, as a lot of students like to come here to socialize and study. And in this area, you're also going to find our Student Services Hub. So here you'll find things like accessibility services, the office for student engagement, the Career Center, and the International Education Center. So as someone who came from high school with an IEP, I worked closely with an accessibility advisor throughout every year of my undergrad, and she set me up with accommodations such as extra time on tests and exams to ensure that I had a fair and equitable university experience at UTM. I also worked with a career advisor from the Career Center when I changed my mind about my future goals. So remember, I switched out of programs and that sort of thing. So she was integral in helping me explore career options and modifying my degree to have courses that really reflected my future goals. The Davis building also holds various large lecture halls and is home to our first year biology, forensics, and anthropology labs. And then you'll find additional departments in the Davis building, such as the anthropology department, earth sciences, biology, chemistry, and physics. And then connected to the Davis building is the Recreation, Athletics, and Wellness Center, which we call the Rock, and that is also our next stop. So you have probably noticed that a lot of our UTM buildings are connected, which is really nice, especially in the winter time, so you can avoid things like the cold, the ice, and the slush. But at the Rock, you can find our state-of-the-art fitness facility with its own indoor running track, various gymnasiums, weight rooms, and our Olympic-sized swimming pool. So I've personally used our fitness center on various occasions. I prefer it to going to my own gym. Actually, I should probably cancel my gym membership and just keep going there. So I honestly do find that it has more equipment than my own gym does. The Rock also has various drop-in sessions, which are available to all UTM students, regardless of your athletic ability. And we also run women's only drop-in sessions. Just in case you weren't aware, our fitness facility is accessible to all UTM students, so it's not at any additional charge to you. It is covered in your tuition. And with that being said, we will move on to our next building, which is the CCT building. So CCT stands for Communications, Culture, and Technology. And this building is home to the Institute of Communications, Culture, Information, and Technology. It also houses our CCT 1080 lecture hall, which is our biggest lecture hall on campus and seats about 500 students. So you'll more than likely have at least one first-year lecture in this lecture hall. And in this building, you'll also find the IT desk. So here's where you can pick up your student card, as well as get help with any technical issues that you may have on your devices. So I've personally gone to the IT booth on various occasions, and the staff there are really helpful. And again, this is included in your tuition, so there's no additional charge there. And luckily, there's actually another tunnel connecting this building to our next stop, which is the UTM library. So this is the Hazel McAllen Academic Learning Center, also known as our UTM library. So the Hazel McAllen Academic Learning Center opened in 2007, and it's named after Mississauga's former and longest running mayor of Mississauga, the Hazel McAllen. The library has Canada's largest video game archive as well, called the Sid Bolton Collection. And the University of Toronto boasts 44 libraries, making it the third largest library system in North America. The library is one of the most popular study spots for students, as it has over 150 computer workstations, 1,000 study spaces, and 19 bookable study rooms. Not to mention, we have a very conveniently located Starbucks right outside. And the library does have a team of librarians and research specialists who work with students at the reference and research desk for assignment help. And the circulation desk is also able to loan out library books and other materials for students, such as laptops, chargers, and calculators. And right next to the library, we have our instructional center, which will be the next stop on our tour. So the Instructional Center opened in 2007 and was constructed with durable and local building materials with renewable or recycled content. This building exclusively features classrooms and study spaces. The Instructional Center, otherwise known as IB to all of the UTM students, is another one of our busiest buildings. So this is also where the UTM shuttle bus will pick pick up and drop off students going to and from the UTM campus to the downtown Toronto campus known as our St. George campus. Some students use this shuttle to get to and from classes between the two campuses. Some just use it to cut down on their commute or just explore downtown Toronto. And this is all for free. So yes, of course, this is free for UTM students. And there's also a ton of study spaces in this building as well, including quiet zones for individual studying and private study rooms for 4 or more people. And we also have additional food options in this building. Now we're going to head over to one of our newer buildings, which most students call the MN building. Okay. So the full name of this building is the Manajaway Nandima Winon building, which is an Indigenous name meaning gathering of minds, which reflects both the Indigenous history of the land and the future of our campus. It unofficially opened in 2018, and it's home to various active learning classrooms. This building is also home to the departments of political science and sociology, as well as the Robert Gillespie Academic Skills Center. This Academic Skills Center is a great resource for all students, and I would highly recommend accessing some of the various resources that they have to offer, such as one-on-one appointments and workshops for academic skills. Now, again, connected to the MN building is our next building, Deerfield Hall. So that will be our next stop. Okay, so Deerfield Hall opened in 2014, and it was named for the UTM deer that we often see around campus. The building is also home to the departments of theater and drama, mathematical and computational sciences, psychology, English, and philosophy. And on the second floor is the Math Learning Center, where students can get free math help, which is a resource I used a lot in my first year of university. As a coffee lover, another thing that I love about this building is that we have a second Starbucks location, which was recently built there. And so really, no matter what side of campus you're on, you can always get your caffeine hit. They also do have a few more food options in this building as well. So next, we're going to be going to our final stop, which is the Student Center. The Student Center opened in the 1990s, and it's home to many of UTM's student clubs. The UTM Students Union, or as we call it in short form, UTMSU, is located in this building. They support all of our undergraduate students on campus by advocating for student rights, providing essential services, and creating meaningful events. If you decide to come to UTM, they will be running your orientation week, which is jam-packed full of fun activities. However, they do host events for all students throughout the year as well. They also run our on-campus pub and restaurant known as the Blind Duck, which is probably my favorite spot to eat on campus. There's also pool tables located in this building if you're looking for a fun activity to do with friends on campus. They do have a chat time located here as well, which is where I love to go and grab bubble tea. I did that in between my classes. And lastly, we have our on-campus convenience store known as the Blind Duck located at the Student Center. And having said all of that, that is the end of our virtual tour. So thank you again for joining us on this virtual visit around the University of Toronto and seeing some of the most important spaces on campus. If you have any questions about programs, admissions, or anything related to my experience as a student, you're welcome to put the questions in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. So we can move on directly to our question and answer period now. So I know Yvonne has been answering some of the questions in the group chat, or not in the group chat, but in the comments section. which is amazing. So let's go and see if we have a bunch of starred comments here. So let's go through them. So Royce, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Sorry if I didn't. So they asked, what's the average class size per course at UTM? So I would say there's no standard answer to this question. Really, in your first year, you can have fairly big first year lectures. They can range from like 200 to 500 students. And then as you go into your upper years, your class sizes do get smaller and smaller. So I took a fifth year when I was here. And when I was in my fifth year, I think I had like 13, 14 students in one of my classes. So it really does range a lot. Okay. Let's see here. There's some more personal questions here, so I can answer those outside of this. So here's a good question. Can I get in touch with any undergraduate majoring in life science psychology? So I majored in psychology when I was here. So if you, we'll put this on at the end, but also if you go on to uft.me/askutm, you can submit questions to us, and we'll get you in touch with a student either in the program or recently graduated like me, and you can kind of get more information on student experience there. Okay, here's a good question from Bonnie. Thank you for your question, Bonnie. Could you talk about UTM's ACE language program and what the selection requirements are? So I can talk a little bit about UTM ACE. So UTM ACE is essentially for students who haven't quite met their English language requirements. So they've done an English proficiency test like the IELTS test or something similar that's listed on our website. And they've got, a fairly good score, but not quite enough to meet our threshold for admissions. So in that case, we might give you a conditional offer. And one of the conditions would be completing the ACE program. So the ACE program can be completed. You'll either be invited to do it in the summertime, so kind of in the summer before starting your studies, or during your fall-winter term. So if you are doing it starting in the fall, you'll only have it on weekends, so it won't interfere with the courses that you've selected. So I hope that answered that question. Let's see. Is there a football pitch at I think you meant the Rock building. So I think at Enoch, thank you for your question. So we do have I would say our main football field, it's not right in front. I mean, there is a field in front of the Rock, but it's usually the main one that we use is kind of in front of the MN building. So there's a big open field there. But yes, there is another field in front of the Rock building. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, this is a good one. So about how long after submitting applications will the results be communicated? So if you mean by submitting your application and then after we receive your transcripts or any supplemental applications or whatever else we might need. So if you apply by November 7th, we will consider you for early admissions. So early admissions can go out as early as February. So you could hear from us anytime between February and May. And then the final deadline to apply is January 15th. So again, we still send out admissions between February and May, but you might get an answer maybe a little bit after February instead. So sometimes it can take several months from the time that you submit your application, but we will get back to you, so don't worry. Okay. So I am interested in forensic anthropology. Is there anyone I can speak to that can give some insight onto the steps connected to reaching that goal? Yeah, thank you for your question. So again, we do have student staff working in this office who specifically have taken forensic sciences courses or are doing some kind of forensic science specialist program. So again, if you go to uft.me/askutm, which we can put up on the screen at the end of at the end here. You can connect with the student there. So, I mean, I can give you some insight on that as well. So when you apply, you want to apply to forensic sciences. And when you do apply to forensic sciences, if you gain admissions into that program, your first year is going to be kind of a general first year. I would recommend looking into specifically what the prerequisites are for forensic anthropology. So you can do that by looking up our academic calendar. So you can literally Google UTM Forensic Anthropology Academic Calendar, and that'll break down what prerequisites you need in each year of your undergrad to kind of achieve your program goals. So if you are doing the first year prerequisites for forensic anthropology and you're attaining the marks that they want you to get, so there's a certain GPA that you need to maintain, which will also be listed on the academic calendar, then you can apply for your specialist in forensic anthropology. And we do have academic advisors who can kind of help you along with this process if you, when you're a student here, and can help you to ensure that you're reaching those goals that you want to meet. All right. Sorry, just looking for more questions here. Okay, here's a good one. So Bettina, I think is your name. So thank you for your question. So how can I get a research opportunity in life sciences if I get in? Who do I get in contact with? So to get a research opportunity, these are things that you do need to kind of look for yourself as a student, but of course we do have resources to help you with this. You can talk to a career counselor, you can talk to your professors, you can talk to somebody in the office of the registrar. So I'll kind of give you some insight into what I did. So UTM does have a pretty well-known, like I said, it's called our ROP program, so Research Opportunity Program. So it's just kind of like well-known, and I mean, you'll get emails about it and that sort of thing. But usually applications for ROP get sent out, or sorry, they start in around March of every year, I believe it is. So basically, like, let's say you're in your second or third year and it's March and the ROP application's open, you could submit your application to the ROP. They're going to want your transcripts. They're going to want your resume. And then, yeah, so you can apply to that program. They will email you back with, if you were eligible that year or not. And if you weren't eligible that year, you can always reapply the next year. I didn't get in the first year that I applied either. I believe I got in the second year that I applied. So don't be discouraged if you don't get in the first year. It's totally fine. You can still do it. And then once you kind of are accepted to the ROP that you want, it's added to your timetable automatically. And yeah, you can, it's like a course. It's like a research course that you do. So that's how you can get some research experience. Outside of that, I mentioned independent research projects. So again, I did one of those. And with those, you do need to approach a professor directly. So hopefully this would be a professor that you already have taken classes with. You probably have a relationship in some capacity with them because you visited them in office hours. Hopefully you've done well on their courses, asked lots of questions, that sort of thing. So you can approach that professor, whether it's an email or in person, and just say, hey, this is a research idea that I have, and I really want to pursue this idea and kind of do my own thing with it. And in my experience, as long as you know the professor, they're pretty open to it, and they'll say like, yeah, like I'll supervise you for this project. And then at that point, you're just submitting a form to the registrar's office. It's a really easy form too. It's literally like, just, this is my supervisor. This is the name of the project. And then again, it'll be added to your timetable, and it'll be a course that you're taking. Outside of that, if you wanted paid placements, I had 2 paid placements. One was just, it's called an RA-ship, so a research assistantship. Again, I just went to one of my professors and I said, hey, I'm interested in your research. Do you have any jobs? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. And then he just like, that's kind of how I did it there. So he had funding within his research projects that he could hire a research assistant. So that's what we did. And then if a lot of professors will also post work study positions. So again, these are where you're getting paid to work on campus. You only work a certain number of hours, but you get paid for working those hours. And yeah, so you can just kind of look through our, it's called the CLNX website. And the CLNX website is part of University of Toronto, and they will post all of our really any job opportunities on campus. They'll post there and you can apply to them. And again, if you know the professor, it does help. So you can say, hey, I applied to this research position that you had posted. I'd like to be considered. And then you can do a work study research position. Okay, so thank you for your question. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but there's a lot of research opportunity here. Okay. Okay, here's a good one from Sylvia. Thank you, Sylvia. So, hi, thanks for a great overview. What would you say is the culture at UTM? Is it friendly, helpful, or are there rumors of extreme competitiveness where no one can make friends true? Honestly, thank you for this question. I like to address these kinds of questions because I see a lot of fake news on like things like Reddit. So please stay away from Reddit if you can. But okay, so this is what I was saying about UTM. I had a positive experience at UTM. I would say a lot of our student staff in this office also have a positive experience. I see them on campus so much, and I'm like, do you guys ever go home? Like, why are you still here? And it's because they have so many friends here. They're part of so many clubs, and they're just staying on. Sometimes they're on campus studying, which is fair. But yeah, I just see them socializing all the time. So I think that we do have a good culture here at UTM, especially being one of the smaller campuses. I really like the smaller campus feel. I think you get to know students in your program a lot better because like even if you aren't here trying to make friends, you see the same person like over and over and over again, and you're like, oh, I guess we must be in the same program because we have the same classes every year, and then you just kind of make friends with them. So I personally haven't noticed extreme competitiveness. Like I think it is. I feel like when I was in high school, everybody would be like, "Well, what score did you get on your test?" And then we're all like competing with each other. That doesn't happen here. Here it's just like, "Whoa, you got like a 75. Good job!" And like everyone's happy for you. Yeah, so I don't notice the competitiveness. Like I said, even with research placements, as long as you know the professor and you've like made an effort to talk to them and ask questions, like even then it's not, there's so many research opportunities here that you're not super limited. So in short, yes, you can make friends here. You do also need to try to talk to people if you want to make friends, but yes. Okay, what time is it? Okay, we still got lots of time. Okay, here's a good question. Regina, is it possible to change your chosen program once you've already been accepted into the U of T for a different program? So I think you mean like if you get here, can you change your program after? And if that's what you mean, then yes, I did that. So I like the first year for most students is pretty general. You're doing your own course selection. So it's really up to you what courses you take, assuming you have the high school prerequisites for them. And then if like let's say you enter in through life sciences and you're like, you know what, I really don't like these life sciences courses. That's fine. You can change like after your first year. You don't even declare your specialist or your majors and minors until the end of your first year. So if you want your specialist or your majors and minors to be different from the program that you entered, you can absolutely do that. You just need to ensure that you've taken the first year prerequisites for those courses. So I took first year psychology in my first year, so I was able to apply to a psychology major. I had also taken like an anthropology course, so I could apply to the anthropology minor, and I could also apply to the sociology minor because I took intro to sociology. And I had fairly good grades too. So yeah, you can absolutely kind of change your program around. You're not stuck in what you apply to. Okay, so Sosen, am I able to switch campuses after I get admission? Thank you for your question. So yes, you can switch campuses. It would be called an internal transfer. So you can't switch the campus right away. You would have to complete your first year, for example, and then kind of go through the application process again. So it's very similar to applying to the university, except you're doing an internal transfer instead of just like applying as a first year student. So because you've taken U of T courses, most of those courses, if not all, should be transferred to your new campus. They will still evaluate you based on your grades, though. So if you didn't have such a great first year, you didn't get great grades, there is a chance that you don't gain admissions into another campus. So just be advised that it's not 100% guaranteed that you will be able to transfer campuses, but we do allow that option. Okay. see. Okay, here's a good one. Brian. Is the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship a true scholarship in U of T? If yes, how many scholars are selected each year? Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't know exactly how many scholars are selected each year, but I will try to find that out for you. It is a U of T scholarship, but it is one that you need to be nominated for by your school. So somebody at your school, could be your principal, guidance counselor, teacher. They need to nominate you for that award before the deadline. And then once you're nominated for that award, there will be further application details posted in your Join portal, and you need to finish filling out those application details. And then again, it's not guaranteed that you get in. It is a very prestigious award. So they're looking at your academics, they're looking at your application. And then if you do receive it, it is a very nice scholarship. So, I mean, good luck if that's what you're trying to do. Okay, anything else? Sorry, I'm just reading some of the stars here. Somebody liked my workout costume. That is one crazy workout costume. Thank you. It was really hot. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. Sosin, I requested my transcript after I finished grade 11 so I could upload them early, but my teacher said that I submit my transcript after I get my grade 12 report cards. When do I upload? Okay, so it should actually be either your teachers or your guidance counselors uploading your transcripts to the OUAC portal. So they'll probably post them usually around when you get your grade 12 midterms back. So in that way, we can see your grade 12 midterm marks. And then any other marks that we are missing, we will pull from your grade 11 marks. So hopefully they are posting your entire transcript. They're supposed to be posting your entire transcript. So yeah, as far as transcripts go, you should just be relying on your school for that. It's always, sometimes they do need a gentle reminder, so you could always give them a gentle reminder to make sure that they are uploading those. But thank you for your question. Okay, let's see if I can answer this. I will try my best. Royce, I've never heard of the term co-op. What does that mean? Work study, and if so, what companies or departments do students usually study with a CS major? Okay, so CS, I think you mean, okay, computer science probably. Okay, so co-op is, okay, there we go. There's a nice link on the screen. So co-op and work study are two different things. So co-op is an additional program that we offer at the university. So you can apply to it as early as your second year. So work study would be, again, on campus working, limited hours. You are getting paid for your hours, and you're getting a co-curricular credit for it. Co-op would be more part of your academics. They'd be part of your academic term, kind of. So usually at UTM specifically, our co-op can run anywhere between 12 months, so about a year to a year and a half. And you usually are working outside of the university at a co-op. So it's kind of like a formal 9-to-5 job that you're going to every day. We have both paid co-ops and unpaid co-ops. So you can apply to both of them, and hopefully you get a paid one. Usually what happens too is when students do a co-op, they do have to come back for a 5th year to complete their studies. That's specific to UTM. And then we do offer co-ops co-op program is fairly new, but we do offer co-ops in a bunch of the programs here at UTM. So I would definitely visit that link that's kind of popping up on your screen there. We'll go over any of the programs that are co-op. So thank you for your question again. It was a good one. Okay, what else? Okay, so I am getting some questions about, is there a program? Sorry, wow. Is there a co-op in psychology? Is there a co-op in computer science? I believe there is one in psychology. Computer science, you'd have to double check that website. I believe there might be one. Yeah, okay, so co-op. Also, if there isn't a co-op offered for whatever program you're entering in, that's also fine because you kind of get that same, or you get a similar co-op experience if you're doing something like work study or research opportunity program or like any type of research assistant stuff. So, I mean, just because there isn't a co-op offered doesn't mean you can't get work experience. Okay. Are there, or sorry, antics, I think we have here. Are there a lot of extracurricular activities slash clubs at U of T? And if so, do I need to apply for those clubs and stuff during my application? So you don't have to apply to clubs in your application, but yes, we do have a lot of clubs. So across U of T, so across the 3 campuses, we have over 1,000 clubs. So we have all the classics, including things like sports, debate, chess, and then we have a number of unique clubs as well. And actually, if you can't find a club you're looking for, you can make your own club. So I know one of our students here at UTM recently started the Paleontology Club. I was part of the U of T Mental Health and Fitness Club. So that was another club that was, I think we created it during COVID or something. So I was one of the first members of that club because it was like very new. Clubs can also be super low maintenance. Like I know in my club, we literally just shared gym hacks in a group chat. So like it doesn't have to be super difficult or super time consuming. But of course you can also have more involved clubs where there's more socialization and that sort of thing and leadership opportunity. I just had a lot going on, so I didn't want a club that had a lot of commitment. Okay. I am not from Ontario and instead from New Brunswick, Canada. Do I still upload my transcript after I get my midterms in late November, even though I want to do early applications or submit them ASAP with no grade 12 grades? Yeah, so early application literally just refers to your OUAC application. So like literally just filling out the questions on OUAC and like hitting submit. So that's what we're referring to for early application. So as long as you've done your OUAC, you don't have to worry about it like that. You've done early admissions or you've done your early application. As far as your grades are concerned, still kind of the same thing. Talk with your guidance counselors, your teachers. They should be uploading your grades. I mean, if you have a copy of your transcript and you want to upload them to the Join portal, you can do that, but just be advised that that's not considered official. And you can't get a final offer without having official transcripts that come directly from your school. So yes, please just have your school upload them on OUAC. Okay, I think, unless I'm missing, I think I've answered all of our starred, there might be new ones coming in. Or no, I don't think so. Is the acceptance rate for US students lower? To my knowledge, no, it's not. We are considering all students equally, so you don't have to worry about that. We're mostly just concerned with your academics, so make sure that you have good marks and that you're taking the prerequisites that you need. I know the US high school curriculum is slightly different, so if you have any questions about prerequisites, you're welcome to ask them now with the next few minutes we have, or again, you can connect with us. You can connect with our office afterwards and we can answer your questions. Okay, I think that might have been all of them unless we have any more coming in. Let's see here. Okay, a new one came up. Hello, I have a question. Does the social science program offer any hands-on experience, like internships, research opportunities? Yeah, so I mean, all of our programs do offer research opportunities. So no worries there. You can definitely get a research opportunity. Hands-on experience, maybe you mean something like study abroad. And if that's what you mean, then yes, we do have study abroad options for the majority of our programs as well. Outside of that, I don't know exactly what you mean, but if you want to ask another question, I'm welcome to answer that. Okay, I think I got all of these unless there is anything new coming in. Okay. So I'll give you guys maybe one more minute, and if we don't have any other questions, then I will start to wrap up here. It looks like we've got a lot of questions answered in the chat by our awesome moderator, Yvonne. So thank you for answering those questions. Okay, maybe one more. Okay, here's another one. If a mistake is made when uploading documents for the application, example, proof of income, can it be fixed? Proof of income would be for international students. So in your join portal, you should have some opportunity to fix things, or in your OUAC portal. After they've been submitted, though, I would recommend contacting our office, and we'll see if we can fix anything from there. Outside of that, it could also be the office of the registrar. I would assume, though, the office of the registrar would be more so once you're a student. Proof of income would be more so for OSAP, I think. If you want to ask a follow-up question to that, I can try to answer it. I'm not exactly sure what mistake you mean. Like if you, I know some students make mistakes by not indicating that they're Canadian citizens. Usually we have to go in and fix that, so you'll have to contact our office there if it's that sort of thing. But yeah, feel free to contact our office if you did make a mistake, and we will try to help you with that. Okay, so we have a few minutes left of our live stream here. If you guys have any final questions. Okay. As a high school student, is it a must to provide funds for the scholarship? Is it a must to provide funds for the scholarship? I think you may be a little bit confused about what a scholarship is. So scholarships are things that the university gives you. So we will give you academic-based scholarships, so based on your academic merit. So we give those types of scholarships. I'm not sure what else you mean by that. If you have a follow-up question, please ask it, and I will try to clear up anything that you might be confused about. Okay. Okay. I think there's just some lingering questions about co-op, which again, I would recommend visiting the co-op site directly. We'll put it back up on the screen for you. You can also check out our website, our Future Students website. It should also list any co-op opportunities there. I think some students are just curious about certain streams of co-op. So the way that co-op works is it wouldn't be like you couldn't. So like I'll give the example of information security. You wouldn't specifically apply to an information security co-op. You would apply to a co-op within your program, and then they will have a list of employers that you can apply to. You can look through all of the employers' jobs, what the job descriptions are, and if you find job descriptions that kind of fit your interest, you're more than welcome to apply for those ones. And then somebody from the co-op program can kind of help you through those. That's not something that you apply into right now, though, which is why I'm trying to steer away from that. That's something that you apply to kind of in your second or third year at the university. But if you have any like more admissions related questions, I'm happy to answer those. Okay, here's a good one. Will this video be up on YouTube channel after the live ends? From Regina. Yes, thank you, Regina, for asking. I know it can take a little while to upload, so it won't be like right away the minute that we're done the live, but we will upload it, and you probably should be able to view it again very soon if you want to relook at things. So thank you for asking that question. Which building will we find the students' rooms? Are they shared rooms? How are they structured, please? So I think you're referring to residence, which is a good question. So thank you for asking that question. So we have a bunch of different residence buildings here on campus, all with kind of different setups. So one setup we have is a townhouse style. So that has 4 bedrooms, and you do get your own bedroom in the townhouse. There is a shared living room space, a shared kitchen space, as well as a shared bathroom. So it's 1 bathroom for the 4 students. We have apartment style as well. So kind of similar, where you do get your own room. You're only sharing a bathroom with 1 other person. So I believe there's 2 bathrooms in the apartment style, 4 people in total. So 2 people per bathroom. And then again, shared living and apartment space. Shared living and kitchen space. And then we do have dorm style, where again, you do get your own room, but it's an adjoined bathroom. So you are sharing your bathroom with 1 other person. Thank you for that question. What is the GPA you need to be considered for admissions? Thank you for your question. This is a question that I get all the time, and I always give a frustrating answer because I always tell you guys that it depends. It really does depend on the program. So we don't have an overall GPA where it's like, okay, this is the mark you need to get in. It really differs between all of the different programs. So if you want to ask me specifically what program you're interested in, I can share that with you. And keep in mind, though, that our GPAs, they're estimates, and they do differ from year to year. So it always depends on the applicant pool that we get. So some years it's a bit higher, some years it's a bit lower. But I would say if you're anywhere near that threshold, just apply, because you never know what could happen. I could give you some examples. I know life sciences is like usually mid to high 80s to get in. Some of our social sciences programs are usually mid to high 70s. Psychology is high 70s, low 80s. Commerce is mid 80s to high 80s. Those are just the examples that come to mind, but please feel free to ask a follow-up question. Okay. Okay. Could you please let me know what criteria are used in selecting scholarship recipients? So our scholarships are largely based on academic merit. So we usually start at a 90% average. So if you have 90% plus, that will be that's when we'll evaluate you for scholarships. Okay, sorry guys, we are in the last minute here, so I just want to kind of close off the stream. If you have any other questions, please submit them to us. We're happy to answer them. So thank you guys again so much for joining and engaging with the presentation and asking so many great questions. I really encourage you guys to check out our UTM Future Students website, which is now, which should be below on the screen soon. And you'll find all of the admissions program information on our UTM Future site. In addition, you can find our contact information there at the bottom of the screen. Should you have any further questions, you can also send them to uft.me/askutm. So all of this is on the bottom of your screen right now. Thank you so much to our chat moderator, Yvonne. You did a great job answering all these questions. And shout out to Michael, who's been doing all the technical stuff behind the screen here. He's been awesome. So thank you so much, Michael. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Bye.